Hello educators! So, you now know how to make your own account. Your students are now logged into your class. Now you want to get started in BandLab. Well, let's get started.
Be strong.
When making your first assignment in BandLab, it's really easy to be overexcited and to make it really difficult. So I highly suggest you make it super simple, and I want to show you the very first lesson that I use for my students. So right now, we are in our BandLab account, the teacher's account, and the first thing we're going to do is click the Create button. Now what's really great is we can use a whole bunch of templates. We can make templates, that way we're not reinventing the wheel. That way, if you're going to use it again for another grade or another class, or even the following year, you have pre-made templates that you can just keep on using, and you're not having to do the same work twice. For this case right now, let's go ahead and just do New Assignment. Now, we're going to create our very first assignment. So, the first thing we need to do is give it a title. I know, really inventive. I wouldn't make any deadlines to BandLab just because when the deadline's up, students cannot access the assignment anymore. So if the student is absent or late or something happens, you then have to re-change the assignment to give them access to it. It's kind of more work than it is, so we'll just leave it alone. Obviously in the instructions, this is where we want to explain our very first assignment. In this case, I make the assignment really easy. We're going to add 4 loops to BandLab and click Submit. You obviously can explain it more, have it more detailed if you like. I'm walking them through the assignment, so I keep it pretty simple. If you decide that you're not quite ready to publish this yet, just click the Save as Draft, and now you have that assignment made. However, your students can't see it. If you go to Assignments, you can see right now it's under the word Draft. And I can even see right here, Draft there, and Published is empty because students can't see yet. It's not published to them. When I go to my class, again, under Class Activities, it's not viewed yet because we haven't published anything. Let's go ahead and publish this assignment. We're going to go back to Assignments, click on the assignment, and we'll go to Edit it. Here we are again. We can make any other changes to it. Use any sounds you want. Triplet, quadruple exclamation point. We'll go ahead and click Save. Still, right now, it's not published yet. We still have it as a draft, so we need to publish it. Our 3 dots allow us to publish the assignment. And again, if you want to make any last minute changes, you can. If not, go ahead and hit the Publish button. You'll notice that we were able to add attachments to this. We'll come back to that at a later lesson. So now, when I go to Classroom, I can easily see that this is the very first assignment. And one thing I want you to notice right away is that your teacher account will look very different than your student account, which is, again, why I suggest you create a student account. That way you can walk your students through the exact same assignment as them. So let's go ahead and look at what a student will see. Once a student logs in, right away they're going to see their very first assignment. I want to click back and forth real quick to what a teacher's account looks like and a student account looks like. So this right here is the student account, and this is the teacher's account. Notice right now that in a student account, they can start the assignment, but in our teacher's account, we can edit the assignment, or we can unpublish it and even share it. Let's go to Share real quick. If I click on Share, I can share it through Google Classroom, pretty much as you would if you were using Google Classroom in any other sense. I'm not going to show you how to do that just yet because right now I want to keep things as simple as possible. Let's go back to our student account right now, and I want you to keep an eye on the top right-hand side. Anytime I'm in teacher mode, I have my BandLab for Educators symbol here, and anytime I'm in my student account, I have a Bitmoji of me. I know. Fabulous. So let's go ahead and look at what a student's going to say. We're going to have them click on Start Assignment, and I always tell my students, this is our school assignment. I am the teacher, so we're always going to do my assignments. Personal projects are kind of what it sounds like. It's the student's own library of songs, which means you will not have access to it. You will not be able to see it. So we always want to have them click on Teacher's Assignment. We are now in the main frame of BandLab. We are now in the mix editor, as they like to call it. There's a few things that we can do here. If you have keyboards that are hooked up and you want to use them, you can use it as instruments or a drum machine. We can use our microphone to record our voices. And even if you like, you can even plug in guitars and bass into BandLab and have them play. For right now, we're going to just click the side to get rid of this. On the bottom right, we'll always be able to see our assignment. So if a student forgets what to do, they can click on Assignment Brief and see the instructions of what to do. If you're having them write a song, they can write in the lyrics to a song. Over here is our loop library. We'll come back to that in a little bit. If students are working together, this is the collaborative chat where they can work together. And this is MIDI mapping. If you're using keyboard, you can have your keyboard assigned to different functions. For most of us, we won't have to worry about that. So the first assignment that I have my students do is, again, we're going to add 4 loops to BandLab, and we can choose any loops we want. Right in the middle, you can easily see it says drop a loop in here. So you can easily read that to your students and know that this is where they're going to be dragging all of your sounds into BandLab. So show them that at the bottom right, this is our loop file. As soon as they open up, first they have access to the most popular loop folders there are. We can go to packs, which are all BandLab's packs, which packs are basically folders. Different genres of music, different artists, creation. Basically, it's just sounds that have already been pre-made to fit together to sound good. When I go to loops, this is every single loop that BandLab has to offer. We can search for different loops, typing it in. We can refine it by clicking on the type of instrument we want or the type of genre we want. What I would have my students do is simply go into the most popular and choose one of the most popular ones. In this case, I'll use Retro City for now. Now be sure to explain to your students that these are loops. Loops are just pre-made sounds, and we can even listen to them by clicking the play button. They can listen to as many as they like, find ones that sound good to them. I always explain to my students that make sure you also look on this column that you can see the type of instrument that is being played, whether it's a bass or a drum beat, chords, and I'll go a little further into detail with them in future lessons, but I want them to see that it basically gives you a preview as to what to expect. So our assignment was to add 4 loops to it. So we can easily just pick the first one. Using our mouse, we'll just click on it, hold it down, and drag it into the timeline. And now you can see, this is the sound that we picked. We can easily manipulate it by moving it left and right by dragging and holding it down. I'll go ahead and move it to the very beginning. At the top here, most of your students are going to recognize the play button, the rewind, fast forward, and they might need a little refresher as to what the red dot record means. When I hit the play button, I can hear what sound I picked. Beautiful. So remember, our assignment was to pick 4 loops, so I'm going to go ahead and stay in this pack and go ahead and just add 3 more sounds. It's okay if they're not the same length because, well, not all music is the same length. Once I have 4 sounds or 4 loops in there, I can go ahead and click the loop tab to get rid of it. I can drag all of these to the very beginning. If I accidentally all of a sudden move a loop to a wrong line, I can go to the undo button and change it. And now I can rewind it, listen to what my song sounds like. And just like that, your students have just created their very first song. Always, students are so excited when they first see this because they saw how easy it was. They didn't need to have any knowledge of music theory, note reading, rhythm reading. They were just able to drag and drop and make music. When they're done, I always have my students first click the save button. One thing that I don't like about BandLab is it doesn't auto-save, kind of like what Google does. When you're using a Google Doc, anytime you make a change, it automatically saves. In BandLab, it doesn't. So if all of a sudden you lose the internet, or your computer or your battery dies, or something happens to their computer, they have now lost all the work they've done and they have to redo it again. A little bit of a bummer. So always remind your students to save, 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 and save often. When they have completed this assignment, they can go ahead and click the submit button. This is going to give you access, so now that you, the teacher, can view it. If you want, you can have them write a little message and then click submit again. Once it's submitted, this is what the screen will look like. Obviously, it's processing right now. It might take some time, but they have now completed their first assignment. Let's go ahead and see now what you, as the educator, as the teacher, will see. So here we are, we're back in our teacher account right now. If you remember, this was our first assignment. I'm going to go ahead and click on that assignment. And I can see right now that my students who have submitted it, it will be labeled as submitted. If they have not submitted yet, it would just be called assigned. If they saved it but didn't submit, it would just called draft. So great, I can see now that my student has completed it. Let's go ahead and click on our student. And now I can see the message that they wrote to me. Maybe they had a problem, maybe they were a little unsure. That message could be in that. And we can easily listen to it. Sounds great, but you know what? I'm unsure whether they used 4 loops or not. Was that 3? Was that 2? I can't tell from just listening. So let's go ahead and open it in Mix Editor. I now can see exactly what they created. I can see what loops they used, how they arranged it, and everything that they've done. As I can clearly see, this student has given 4 loops just like the assignment was, and they did it right. Go them. At the top right, you can see where it says grade. I can click on grade, and I can give it a letter grade or a number grade. I can even leave a comment and give some feedback. Click submit. And now, on your end, you can see your entire class list and what grade they got and who submitted it, who did not submit it. You have access to all of that in BandLab. So there you have it, your very first assignment in BandLab. Like I said, highly suggest you keep it simple and precise because it can be a little overwhelming for many students. I hope you're enjoying these lessons and finding it very informative. If you're liking it, please make sure you leave a comment, give it a like, and subscribe so you can see more videos that are about to be released. Thank you.
Be strong.